One Zambia, One Nation, and thanks for joining us on Zanis News. Top stories in the news tonight. Zambia intensifies humanitarian assistance to victims of Cyclone Freddy in Malawi. Second dose of COVID-19 vaccination campaign kicks off in Lusaka. Financial literacy vital in the school curriculum. Plus, Northwest Council of Elders hope that the Summit on Democracy to provide guidelines on the transition of power. Zanis News in detail. The Zambian government has intensified humanitarian assistance to the victims of the devastating Cyclone Freddy in Malawi, where a number of people remain displaced, while hundreds are reported dead. Eastern Province Deputy Permanent Secretary Beauty Piri has today handed over another consignment of assorted relief items destined for Blantyre, the epicenter of the cyclone. Lubasi Mtafela reports that the donated items are being transported to Muchinji town in Malawi en route to Blantyre, and government officials from Malawi were at Mwami border to receive the relief supplies.
Government has continued rendering humanitarian assistance to Malawi, still battling with the devastating effects of the Cyclone Fred. This time, government has dispatched an assortment of relief items which have been transported to Malawi through Mwami border facility. Eastern Province Deputy Permanent Secretary Beauty Piri presented the relief supplies to Malawian authorities on behalf of the Zambian government at Mwami border.
Consignments that have been given to our friends who are really struggling, as you've heard from the DC from Muchinji, that our houses were blown off and our friends are staying in tents. We thought that we could give a dignity kits to our people, especially to the women that could be struggling. These include sanitary towels, there's soap, there's Colgate. There's quite a lot of dignity things that are in there, so we've given them 700 dozens of those, and then we've also given them chlorine, about 1,744, which is also been given so that they can be helpful in terms of water. We are aware that the water reticulation there could not be the same, especially after the cyclone has passed through. So we've also given them that. Apart from that, also with kitchen sets that have been given to them. The kitchen sets that have been given to them are to ensure that the women and the households that have lost, quite a lot of households also should have these. These are also 700 dozens that have been given to them.
Fred Moveta is District Commissioner for Muchinji District in Malawi.
Very grateful to the government and the people of Zambia for this timely donation. Last Friday, they donated 100 metric tons of maize. But in addition to that, we also had some non-food items which had been airlifted to Kamuzu International Airport. In addition to that, we are today receiving another consignment of maize and other non-food items. If well-wishers can come in with the clinical services or medical supplies which can be used at Camp Level, this will really help us.
Anthu ali osautsika kusowa pokhala chakudya zinthu zawo zonse zaonongeka. Ndipo zinthu zimene ife Zambia atibweretsera ife kuno ndife anthu othokoza kwambiri. Anthu athandizika ngati matenda amene abwera tipanga mashero kuti anthu azikhalamo. Komanso zaku chimanga imene chabwera anthu apeza thandizo la chakudya. Choncho ife anthu ngati Amalawi tili othokoza kwambiri dziko la Zambia.
For Zanis at Mwami border post in Chipata district, I'm Lubasi Mtafela.
In a related development, Mansa Catholic Diocese Bishop Patrick Chisanga has called on the faithful in his diocese to help the victims of the Cyclone Freddy in Malawi. Bishop Chisanga has disclosed that the Catholic Church in Zambia targets to raise 10,000 United States dollars and urge the faithful to help the people in Malawi, especially in Blantyre, who are in dire need of any kind of assistance. He was speaking when he addressed the lay faithful at Mansa Cathedral as part of his pastoral visit. Bishop Tsanga said whatever is happening in Malawi is of concern to everyone, hence the move by the Catholic Church to join all those providing various humanitarian aid. The bishop has disclosed that Mansa Diocese has pledged an amount totaling 1,000 United States dollars to go towards helping the flood victims. He has pointed out that the Catholic Church in Malawi has communicated to the Catholic Church in Zambia to help them in prayers and also in other words. Some parts of Malawi have been hit by Cyclone Freddy and over 300 people have been confirmed dead, while the search for more people are still missing. In other news, Minister of Energy Peter Kapala has commissioned the Tazama pipeline, which has been converted from carrying the commingled crude oil to finished low-sulfur diesel. Mr. Kapala said the transportation of finished low-sulfur diesel will lower the transportation cost, which will result in the low fuel pump price. Copperbelt Minister Elisha Matambo is delighted that the commissioning of the Tazama pipeline signifies government's drive to fix the price of fuel, which is negatively affecting most Zambians. Tovin Ngombe brought us the details.
Minister of Energy Peter Kapala has turned on the valve of the petroleum refinery at Indian Energy Company, formerly known as Indian Petroleum Refinery in Ndola. This is to allow the commingled feedstock to circulate to all parts of the refinery in readiness for processing following successful completion of maintenance works of the plant 12 days ahead of schedule.
Must quickly transition to ethanol production. We've been talking about ethanol production. We have to actualize that. My ministry is ready to assist you in whatever, in terms of resources and general guidance. We want to quickly move to remodeling of the plant immediately after we finish refining the commingled. I'm anticipating that this.
And Indian Energy Company Limited Managing Director says all things being equal, they expect to complete the processing of the commingled feedstock within 45 days.
Yeah, the plant has been done for quite a long time, so we are praying that there are no challenges. We've done what is humanly and technically possible to ensure that we eliminate all the possible challenges. But a plant is a plant. Sometimes yes, when you least expect. But we are good to go. The engineers have done their best.
The completion of processing the commingled feedstock, which remained in the pipeline, will now enable the company to start blending fuel with ethanol, a process which will result in the reduction of fuel pump price on the market. Tovini Ngombe, Zanis, Ndola.
In health news, the Ministry of Health, in conjunction with cooperating partners, has today commenced the second dose of COVID-19 vaccination campaign, which is being conducted in various schools and has received overwhelming response from pupils. A spot check by Zanis in various schools in Lusaka found hundreds of pupils lining up to get the booster vaccines. The pupils have since called on the general public to ignore the myths surrounding the COVID-19 vaccination. Details in this report.
Zambia has in the past months recorded a reduction in the number of COVID-19 cases. This has been attributed to, among others, the continuous COVID-19 vaccination campaigns being implemented by the Ministry of Health countrywide. This time around, the Ministry of Health, in conjunction with other cooperating partners, have targeted schools where they are conducting the second dose of the COVID-19 vaccination exercise. A check by Zanis in selected schools found pupils turning up in numbers to get the jab.
I've come here to be vaccinated because COVID-19 has killed a lot of people in this world. I'd advise them to take this vaccine as it has no side effects, but it is there in our best interests.
So I'm to encourage everybody out there COVID-19.
The pupils then urged the general public to ignore the myths surrounding the COVID-19 vaccines.
Many people have been saying that This, when you get vaccinated, at night you'll be crying like a chicken, at night you'll be moving like a snake, and so those are rumors which we should not take.
School managements are thankful to the Ministry of Health for the COVID-19 vaccination campaign centers that have been set up in their schools.
We had a very good response. Apparently we got very few forms. Within a few minutes they were gone. We had to run more on behalf of the health people.
Something like this, you have to thank the government that we are being protected, and especially in a school like Twashuka, we have so many children, so the possibility of infection is high.
With this effort that we have seen, we are going to see, of course, a remarkable reduction of COVID-19 cases, which we saw in the recent past 3 years or so, really were very devastating.
The exercise, which will be conducted in various schools in the 5 districts of the country, will run from the 20th to the 29th of March 2023. Jane Simalumbazanis in Lusaka.
We now take you to Northern Province, where Action Aid Zambia has donated 70 blankets worth 15,000 kwacha to Senga Hill District Health Office in Northern Province. Action Aid Zambia Mbala District Programs Officer Exudia Chisongo said the move is aimed at responding to one of the rights on good health for children. More in this report.
Government has been partnering with various stakeholders to improve quality healthcare services in the country. One such organization is Action Aid Zambia, which is supporting the health sector in the areas of its operations. In Senga Hill District, Action Aid Zambia has donated 70 blankets to Senga Hill District Health Office, worth 15,000 kwacha.
We work a lot with children, and you find that sometimes when children come to seek medical help, they have nowhere to sleep or nothing to cover themselves with. So we felt that in responding to one of the rights on good health for children, that we support them with linen.
Senga Hill District Administration is happy with the gesture.
One of their programs has to do with youth development. So they took advantage of the Youth Day to donate these 70 blankets. So as this administration, we are appealing even to the other NGOs and civil societies that can also take up the route which Action Aid has taken to come and help in either way, depending on their thematic areas. As a new district, we really need help from different stakeholders who can partner with the government for the sake of developing our district.
Mambo Mission Hospital was allocated 25 blankets and were received by Delina Musukwa, a registered nurse at the facility.
I am just saying thank you for the donation that you have rendered unto us. It will go a long way by helping the patients to have a comfort.
Frida Namfukwe has a passionate appeal to the people going to seek medical services at the facility. Reporting for Zanis in Senga Hill District, Namsokwe Wembia.
Still in health news, over 50% of people in Zambia suffer from oral diseases, which results in loss of production time. Minister of Health Sylvia Masebo says this is why government has placed health, including oral health care, a priority and has called for targeted actions by stakeholders involved in order to effectively address the vice. We have more in this report.
Today, scores of Chongo residents gathered here at Chongo District Hospital to commemorate the 2023 World Oral Health Day. According to some international statistics, several people around the world suffer from oral health diseases. Here, Health Minister Sylvia Masebo was represented by Acting Permanent Secretary, Technical Services, Dr. Alex Makupe, who emphasized that government has placed healthcare services a priority.
The National Dental Federation, 3.9 billion people around the world suffer from one or more oral diseases. This results in loss of productive time in terms of school attendance for children and work for adults. In Zambia, over 50% of the population suffer from one or more oral diseases. Poor oral health extends far beyond the mouth, taking a serious toll on an individual's overall health and well-being.
Dental Health Association of Zambia President Nalumino Sayela said the association wants to inspire change by focusing on the importance of oral health at every stage of life.
2023 World Oral Health Day, whose theme, Be Proud of Your Mouth for a Lifetime of Smiles, is dedicated to raising global awareness of the issues around oral health and the importance of oral hygiene, so that our governments, cooperating partners, and the general public at an individual level can work together to achieve healthier mouths and happier lives. Guest of honor, sir, of the world's population, 90% of the world's population have suffered or will suffer from oral diseases in their lifetime. This is alarming, many of which are avoidable.
Chongwe District Commissioner Evans Lupia stated that oral health is one of the neglected conditions, yet a leading cause of death globally.
Oral health is one of the neglected conditions globally, and yet one of the leading cause of morbidity in Zambia and Chongwe District in particular. You may wish to know, guest of honor, that Chongwe District Hospital is the only health facility providing specialized care under the dental department, whose patients' common conditions include chronic dental caries, severe oral facial infections, or whose treatment in most cases has been tooth extractions and surgery.
And the local authority has commended the government through the Ministry of Health for sending dental surgeons to the hospital.
I take this opportunity to commend the government through the Ministry of Health for the commemorable job they have done by sending dental surgeons and other specialized personnel to Chongwe District Hospital. This intervention will go a long way by reducing the burden of the people who previously would access such services from Lusaka.
This year's World Oral Health Day was commemorated under the theme, Be Proud of Your Mouth for a Lifetime of Smiles. Audrey Kalenga, Zanis News, Chongwe.
Zanis News continues. Senior Chief Mwata Kazembe of the Lunda-speaking people in Wapula Province has held Zambia Flying Doctor Service for dispatching a medical team to Mansa-Wombe District to combine efforts with the District Health Office to fight the outbreak of cholera. Speaking when Zambia Flying Doctor Service Delegation Team Leader Gift Chiobega, accompanied by Mansa-Wombe District Health Director Abraham Wupe, called on him, the chief says he will mete out punishment to subjects under his chiefdom without toilets at their homes. Here is a report.
The reported upsurge in malaria prevalence and stoked by the outbreak of cholera in Mansa-Wombe District in Luapula Province has heightened public health fears. Malaria has affected our house of quite a very long time, and government has been trying to assist us through various interventions. Also, we have also noticed that there is an outbreak of cholera, which has brought fears in our communities. The Zambia Flying Doctor Service has since responded to the emergency distress call from Senior Chief Mwata Kazembe of the Lunde people in the province, who requested that the institution beefs up health staff in the district to enhance efforts to eliminate malaria and fight cholera outbreak.
Basically, this province in particular has got a high prevalence of malaria. So at this particular clinic in Mukamba, already I've seen the statistics. As of by the end of 2022, I think they had about 7,000 plus something malaria cases against a head count of this area of about 9,000.
In managing the disease burden, the health team has employed a number of interventions.
We are not only limited to malaria per se, we have a laboratory so that as we are working, we are not guessing, we are doing evidence-based medicine. Then we also have a dental therapist. We're also doing abdominal ultrasound scan.
The health team is expected to set up camp in 7 catchment areas where the disease burden is reported high.
Currently, Mukamba Rural Health Center happens to be our #1 hotspot when it comes to malaria because it's actually fetching close to 1,000. For cholera, we identified our risk factors to be the fishing camps because the situation in the fishing camps is that there are no toilets.
Violet Tembo reporting for Zanis in Luapula Province.
And in our education segment, the Ministry of Education says it recognizes the vital role that financial literacy plays in inculcating knowledge in citizens on how to handle money matters for themselves, which in turn can contribute to economic development. The Minister of Education, Douglas Siakalima, who was represented by his Permanent Secretary for Administration, Norian Muneku, says to this effect, the ministry plans to include financial literacy in the curriculum to enhance financial knowledge among learners in schools at a tender age. Sunday Wadia has the details.
The Ministry of Education says it recognizes the crucial role financial literacy plays in inculcating knowledge in citizens on how to deal with money matters. Minister of Education Douglas Siakalima says to this effect, the ministry plans to include financial literacy in the curriculum to enhance financial information among learners in schools at a tender age. This was revealed during this year's financial literacy commemorations at Mulungushi Conference Center in Lusaka.
Financial literacy today is crucial for all societies, particularly following the global pandemic, which has caused economic damage to many economies around the world. And because of this, the need for financial and economic education is gaining more attention. Developing human resources and endowing them with financial and economic knowledge and skills is one of the essential functions of a modern educational curriculum. I am pleased to note that over the years, the Ministry of Education has been a partner in advancing financial education in Zambia. This effort has culminated in the revision of the school curriculum with financial education embedded in most subjects from primary to secondary level.
And Bank of Zambia Governor Dan Kalialia, who was represented by Deputy Governor for Operations Francis Chipimo, said Zambia bemoans the low percentage of people that are knowledgeable in financial literacy.
This notwithstanding, the 2020 FinScope survey, which measured financial health and financial literacy for the first time, found that only 13.6% of adults were financially healthy and 23.6% were financially literate. This points to the need for a re-energized and sustained effort in the overriding goal is that with the acquired knowledge, citizens can have the confidence and motivation to make sound financial decisions and use appropriate financial services.
Meanwhile, learners are excited about being considered for financial literacy training.
It has helped us, pupils, learn about the wealth management of finances at a very young age, and it has also given us an opportunity to learn about different ways of making money, investing and saving money.
Aid the Ministry of Education to fasten the process of ensuring that the curriculum must contain the financial literacy lessons.
For Zanis in Lusaka, I am Sunday Waria.
And in Southern Province, the Minister of Education, Douglas Siakalima, who is also Chirundu constituency member of Parliament, says President Hakainde Hichilema has directed that all public schools should have pupils sitting on desks before the end of 2023. Mr. Siakalima was speaking when he handed over 400 desks to both Chirundu Secondary School and Mandenga Combined School, with each school receiving 200 desks. Here's a report.
How can we move rapid? They said a small team. I like tasks
teams, myself. I was brought up like that in the profession. When there's an issue, put a small team together, activities, this is the issue, this is what we need to do to resolve it, by when, by who.
In line with President Hakainde Hichilema's directive, the Ministry of Education has procured desks for onward distribution to schools across the country. In Chirundu district of Southern Province, Chirundu Secondary School and Mandenga Combined Schools are the latest beneficiaries of the newly procured desks to ensure that learners do not sit on the floor.
So the greatest asset that a country has is its own people. But out of these people, the greatest asset is a teacher. This is why me and the president have got the greatest respect for a teacher. So even that time when I was walking to school, those hours, I still found a teacher.
Both civic and civil authorities in the district, the implementation of the free education policy has seen most children who are unable to access education due to poverty, long distances, among other reasons, get back to school.
The statistics indicates that desks available in the district as at the 31st December are 4,382, while the shortfall indicates 10,718 as per 31st December last year.
I think our president has spoken enough that education is the best equalizer. A lot has been said, a lot has been talked about, and now today, the naysayers, we say seeing is believing. I am particularly very, very grateful for the donation that we are receiving today from you, Honorable Minister. Chirundu will never be the same again.
For learners, the handover of desks to 2 schools is testimony of government's determination to strike a balance between access to education and quality.
The sitting down on the floor will be the thing of the past. Thank you for making our school a conducive center for learning. I wish to promise you, sir, that we'll concentrate in our learning and make you a proud Minister of Education. May God richly bless you for the gesture.
We shall continually appreciate the New Dawn administration for their milestones in free education, for all which has brought back our friends who had stopped schooling. Our school needs at least a 1x3 classroom block to accommodate everyone and enable the school management to decongest the overcrowded classrooms.
Zanis reports in Chirundu District, Southern Province.
Residents of Inkunukila area in Wampa district are living in fear as a lone lion is terrorizing villagers in the area. Inkunukila Ward Councillor Taulo Tungisha has told Zanis that the lion has already attacked a cow and attacked a village in the area. Meanwhile, Wampa District Commissioner Alfred Mandumbwa said the matter has been reported to the Department of National Parks and Wildlife in Kawoma, and a comprehensive report will be given as soon as possible. In Northwestern Province, the Northwestern Council of Elders and Development Secretary Kenneth Kapata has expressed hope that the second Summit for Democracy that Zambia will soon be co-hosting will address some challenges that African countries are still facing in the transition of power for political leadership. In an interview with Zanis, Mr. Kapata said generally, African leaders hand over power smoothly, as it has been the case for Zambia, with a few leaders who want to hold on to the presidential seat once the term comes to an end. Mr. Kapata said he wishes to see the summit address the issue of those presidents who hold onto power by coming up with clear guidelines on how it should be done. He said Zambia, like many other African countries, is doing well in upholding democratic values, but there are still facing challenges in the electoral processes which need concerted guidelines to address. Mr. Kapata further said there has been continuous concerns from citizens during elections on how some votes in certain areas with bad road networks are airlifted without monitors from political parties, something which needs a long-term solution. He has since called on all leaders who will attend the meeting to exhaust all issues threatening Africa's democracy and come up with resolutions which will be in the public domain. Zambia will co-host the second Summit for Democracy, scheduled for 29th and 30th March 2023 under the theme Free, Fair and Transparent Elections in Africa.
There have been free and fair elections, but there have been a few challenges which I think should be ironed out once and for all. We are very lucky that the Electoral Commission of Zambia has new people in place and want to see really that there's free and fair elections in this country. In the past, we have experienced constituencies that have been created overnight, and that's not good. In the past, we have experiences when people have been become very hostile in a polling station. The exchange of ballots from one box to the other, that have been experiences, and I think that causes the credibility of elections to go down.
Now, police in Mungwi district have arrested 2 people in connection with the murder of a 7-year-old boy. Northern Province Police Commanding Officer Gloria Mulele has named the suspects as Hendrix Chisanga, 28, and a 16-year-old juvenile, both of Sakomoto village of Chief Makasa's area in Mungwi. She explained that the 2 were arrested to help police with investigations in connection with the murder of the boy, who had his chest opened while the heart, lungs, tongue and gullet missing from his body. She has told Zanis in Kasama today that the incident is believed to have happened last week in Mungwi. Meanwhile, Mrs. Mulele has also explained that another man in his early 20s was murdered by a mob after he was caught allegedly stealing chickens in Kasama. He said Roderick Chisha of Brown Village in Kasama was killed in Luimbo area by a mob on Friday night, around 23 hours after he was seen approaching the residence of an unidentified man who was at the time going to answer the call of nature. She said the unidentified man also discovered that his chicken run was broken into, leaving 2 chickens outside, and decided to shout for help, and the mob apprehended the suspect, who was beaten using cables, slaps and sticks. Police were alerted but found the suspect lying lifeless, and his body was later deposited into Kasama General Hospital mortuary awaiting postmortem. She said the investigations into the incidents have continued but no arrests have been made. As we end the news, we recap on the headlines. Zambia intensifies humanitarian assistance to victims of Cyclone Freddy in Malawi. Second dose of COVID-19 vaccination campaign kicks off in Lusaka. Financial literacy vital in the school curriculum. Plus, Northwest Council of Elders hope that the Summit on Democracy to provide guidelines on the transition of power. Thank you so much for staying with us. Remember, we are one Zambia, one nation. On behalf of the entire Zanis production team, my name is Juliet Ntele saying bye-bye.